guys, and welcome to Anime Duo. I'm Cameron Morris.
And I'm Jack Thomas.
You always try to make it awkward.
That it gets it out, you know?
Yeah,
and
that's
then,
true.
And then there's no tensions between us.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
Because we're very tense people.
Oh, we don't even like each other. So.
This is the show where we watch the... Where's this...
Sorry, man.
Let's do it again.
Do the same thing though. That was really funny. I was trying to hold back laughter at that.
Fucking hell. Hey guys, and welcome to Anime Duo. I'm Cameron Morris.
And I believe.
What? Why do you always try to make it awkward?
Because it gets it out there, you know, man. It just sort of, we unleash this tensions we've got.
I don't think that's how awkward works. It just becomes
do.
more and more awkward. Alright, fine. I'm Cameron Morris.
And I'm Jack Thomas.
This is the show where we watch the first couple episodes of an anime and we kind of give our first impressions and what we thought of it. What did we do this week, Jack Thomas?
Why'd you always ask me?
Because I don't know.
Well, this week we watched Sword Art Online.
Yes, we watched the first 4 episodes of Sword Art Online,
Yep.
which is an anime about a virtual MMORPG world where people get trapped in it and they have to live in it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Matrix crossed with World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. So first of all, let's talk about what we thought of the plot. The plot's pretty basic. As I said, they get trapped in the world. It revolves around this character called Kirito,
Yep.
who was a beta tester, so he knows a lot about the world already, and he's kind of judged by other players because of that, because they feel like he's got an unfair advantage.
Yeah.
One of the scariest things about the world is if you die in the video game,
Die
you
for
die in real life.
Oh, no.
So what did you think about the concept of the anime?
Right.
This is he's so angry.
No. The concept was good.
Yeah.
The execution, not so good.
Okay, so what didn't you like about the execution to start off with? Start with
I have
negatives.
a lot of points to make.
Okay.
Like, I have a handful of good points and a buttload of bad
Let's start with good. I'm going to start with...
Start with good, right?
Let's start with good.
Sure?
Yeah.
Alright. You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Alright. So, as you said, the concept is interesting,
Yeah.
right? It's unique. There are other animes that do it. One's called Log Horizon, I think, and that's
Okay.
based on an MMO. But overall, it's relatively fresh and new because MMOs haven't been around that long.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? To go off the MMO setting, it feels like when you're watching it, there's a sense of progression,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
that's naturally due to the game that it's involved in. Do you want to take the next one?
Oh, yeah, man. I completely agree with the progression thing. It's one of my favorite things about the anime is like... In normal animes where a character will just get more and more powerful, it still happens in this one, but it makes more sense.
Yeah, I suppose it's got a bit more context.
Yeah,
As in-
because it's like they're leveling up and like the characters will change into cooler costumes and you'll see how they get those costumes. They'll defeat a boss and then all of a sudden they'll get, you've just gained a coat, and it'll just appear on them.
Yeah, it's fresh for definite, but there's nothing wrong with regular progression anyway. Like
Yeah,
without,
that's
it's
completely
not,
true.
It's not like either is better. It's just this is a bit.
It's more
It's more-
interesting.
Not even that, but it's more like it hasn't been seen before very much, so
Okay.
it's interesting to watch. You know.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Another good point that I liked is I enjoyed the MMO tropes that they play with. So the idea that there's one character at the beginning, everyone starts and they've created their own characters.
Yeah.
And everyone at one point reverts to what they look like in the real world, and you have a bunch of female characters that just turn into men, which I thought was pretty funny.
I like that.
And I thought it was humorous in that way.
Yeah, it is funny.
And you also have characters who they have similar features to what they look like in real life, but it's more accentuated.
Yeah.
Like the main character Kirito has this really cool, like long black hair.
He looks older as well, doesn't he?
Yeah,
He's,
and it just reverts to like this kind of small hair and stuff.
young,
Yeah.
The interface and them aspects are cool. Like when they open the menu and they cycle through it.
Yeah,
it
you
has like
see
a
the
little
inventory.
jingle. And,
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think of that. The sound
it
effects are
looks
pretty cool.
I like that because it backs up what world they're in and that it's not real.
Plus, one of the cool things about the interface was the health bars I found really cool.
I like that too.
Because in normal animes, especially battle animes, the characters get beaten beaten and beaten and beaten, and you just never know if they're close to death or not.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, you can see their health bars going down and down and down, and it really becomes like tense when they've got like very little health, you know.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's very exploitative, where like you'll go down and they'll just drink a health potion, and they'll go just right back
Oh,
up.
yeah. Like in episode 4, before we just call to it quickly.
Yeah,
when he's getting attacked and his health goes down, but he's at a certain level, so he gets like a rebuff after every 10 seconds.
Yeah, that's
that
true.
was quite interesting too.
It was interesting, but again, it felt like they've created this system, and now they're kind of cheating with it and stuff, which again goes along the MMO thing of people cheat the system sometimes.
Yeah, well, he was like Senti, and these guys were 10. Or
Yeah.
whatever, wasn't they? So.
So let's move on. I think you've got a lot to say.
I
about-
have one
Oh,
more good point.
oh, okay.
Actually, no, I'll relate it later. Go on.
Okay.
Bad points.
Bad points.
Bad points.
What is the least favorite thing you had about this anime?
The development and the pacing.
Okay.
Right. Basically, from the start of it, it's a lot to take on. Like, because I don't play MMOs, right?
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with them. So, there's a lot of terms. I understand a few of them because I have friends who are into MMOs, that sort of thing. But if you're not into that sort of thing, but you're into anime, I can see it would be steep to get into.
I do agree. There are a lot of things that that people said, and for an MMO fan, I would say like that would probably make sense. But for me, I was just like, okay, just say that and I'll move on. Like,
Right,
not even
yeah.
gonna understand what that means, but they can carry on.
Yeah, it doesn't. You don't need to think about it too much because
Yeah.
you can kind of get on board with it, I suppose. But you know,
It is kind of confusing when you're first
Yeah.
getting into it, especially. Yeah.
I like from my personal point of view, I didn't really like this anime.
Okay.
It was okay.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't watch anymore.
It's fair
Like,
enough.
The first 4 episodes, I liked the 4th episode the most.
Okay, that's interesting.
All of the rest were kind of like. I
So,
just didn't really enjoy them that much.
what were your views on the main character then, Kirito? Because I feel like you didn't take to him very kindly.
No. He's just really stereotypical, isn't he? He's like that character who's very moody, and they don't give him like I understand giving a character personality throughout,
Yeah.
but he kind of jumps between like I'm never really sure where his morals are.
I do agree with you there. I wouldn't say that he's undeveloped, but I would say that he was developed, and then they kind of just change him depending on what they want to tell.
Yeah.
So like you have episodes where they talk about like it's really like bleak at some points where they talk about how like he's amazing at this MMO. He's really good at it. He's the best player in the entire game, but he just has no life outside of it, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
He talks
Right.
about sometimes you think that he wants to stay in the MMO forever.
Right.
Because like you see him like he's just chilling out and he's like, oh, this is fun, he's drinking beer, and he's kind of forgotten that he's in a virtual
Right,
reality. And that's really interesting. I like the idea of a character that's just given up because he knows that this is better than the real life.
Right, that he has.
But
right.
you also have episodes where he's like, I'm gonna defeat this guy, I'm gonna get out of this
Yeah,
MMO.
yeah, yeah.
And it really contradicts
like-
his character.
Like there was that bit in the second episode where they fight that first floor boss.
Yeah.
Oh god. But yeah, they do that, and at the end, then he has this big statement where he's like, "Oh yeah, I am
so better at it, all of you.
Yeah, and he leaves, and I didn't understand that at all.
No,
like
neither did I.
it
And
doesn't make any sense.
the thing is the episodes after it completely contradict
Yeah, and
it.
he's a really nice guy, and he's helping people out, and then he's just like a douchebag at the end.
Yeah,
of it.
what made me laugh is he has that whole speech where he talks about I'm a beta, which, to be fair, that was not funny at all. When it was like, you're a beta tester, but you're worse than that. You're a cheater. You're a beta tester cheater. You're a beta. I was like, oh, this is horrible.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I don't like his character.
Okay.
And the reason is because you said he flip-flops a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
And the whole thing of like, at the end of that, his whole point of that speech is, you need to stay in groups because you're weak, but I can solo this.
Right, 'cause-
And in the next episode, he
Yeah.
joins a group.
Yeah, right. I'll just go through this on the way.
Okay.
Because personally, right, I'm not a fan of virtual reality settings.
Okay.
Right, because like with Assassin's Creed, it's a good example because like they do all the thing with the Animus, right?
Yeah.
And that doesn't really need to be there. It could all be set in the past and just playing as different assassins throwing a timeline. And you don't need to have the future day thing because I just don't like it. I just don't find it intriguing. I'd rather stay in the past and fight people with my sword rather
Yeah.
than just go through dialogue in the future. Because it's boring to me. I want to kill things with my assassin powers.
So you
Not
feel
powers, but you know.
you feel the anime would have benefited from just being in a fantasy
Oh,
setting.
for certain. Yeah, yeah, I'd rather it be one or the other. Like either all be set in modern day,
Okay.
or all be set in the past. Like with The Matrix, it's probably one of the only exceptions, and even that didn't have that great sequels.
Yeah,
Right? The
I'd
first
agree with
Matrix
that.
is
Yeah.
good. It's interesting. Like I think it would suit itself just as well if it was just set in the past. Like this guy who made the game was just a warlord who's taken over the country,
Yeah.
and he's not letting anyone out of the borders. You've got to stay in here, and you've got to live by my rules.
Okay, I'm gonna have to. I kind of see where you're coming from, but
Right.
personally, I think this is a preference thing. I would disagree with you there because I feel like setting it in this MMO environment gives it the sense of it gives you the whole gimmick of the MMO, and you're allowed to
Right,
play
right.
with that a lot.
Right, right.
The one thing I would agree with you is that some plot points feel like they're very pointless because it's like they're in an MMO. Why would you be talking about, oh, I need this beer, blah blah blah, and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I think that you are on track, but I do feel like this anime would appeal to a lot of people because of the MMO stuff,
Oh, for
but
certain,
also
yeah.
for people who agree with you, it might put them off. It might just be
Yeah,
like, why isn't it a fantasy setting?
I'm all on board for the setting, right?
Yeah,
But I just think it could have been done so much better.
yeah.
Like,
Okay.
Like for certain. Like I like. It's weird because like there's never like a feeling of death.
Yeah.
For me, like if I see someone and the HP goes down and they fade, I didn't feel like that character had died.
Yeah.
You know, when they just fade out and they're just gone, didn't really feel like a connection to death for me.
See,
personally.
I would agree with you sometimes.
Some.
There are a couple of deaths that are really like they just feel like they're deaths for being the sake of deaths, and it's like,
Yeah.
there's people are laughing at me now. There is a character, I can't remember his name, Devel. He's this knight at the beginning. He's in the second episode.
Right,
And he's
go
like,
on,
yeah,
talk to me
we're
about
gonna
Devel."
go. And he's gonna like, yeah, let's fucking do this.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, yeah, we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
And he runs in, and then he just like immediately dies. And you don't care.
No.
Because it's like,
No,
this,
that's one of my biggest problems because he died.
yeah.
He's on the floor. Main character's like goes up to him and he's like, "Devel, come on!" And he's like, "No, my time has come." And he's dying, and then the main character then goes on to monologue why you should feel sorry for him.
Yeah.
He's like, "He was the only one who cared out of the beta testers. He helped us. He wanted us to get through the first level." And you're like, "Well, why are you telling me how I should feel? I should know."
Yeah,
You
I
know?
should
But it's
feel
all
like
taking
that.
place in under 20 minutes, so I don't care.
Yeah, and you don't get the sense of that from him. He feels
No.
greedy.
Yeah,
he goes
yeah,
for the
yeah,
last kill just to get
Right,
the coke
yeah,
and stuff like that.
And then they try to sympathise with him, and it
Yeah.
just doesn't really work.
One thing I will disagree with you though is one death that really affected me was in the second
Oh.
episode, in the third episode.
Right, okay.
Sorry.
Alright, talk to me. Tell
All
me
right.
why it's good.
I liked Sachi, and I
Why?
felt like when
Why
she
did,
died,
Why did you like Sachi?
I liked it because they made you care about her by giving her the idea of she is the only character that we've met so far that is 100% freaking out and is realizing that this situation they're in is completely messed up. She's like, I don't want to die. I just wanted to play a video game, and now there's a potential that I could die. You know, I could just die playing a video game, and it's never existed before. And Kirito is like, don't worry, I'll protect you, and he fails. And I
Yeah.
thought that was really
Right.
good, because every point after that, I really felt like, okay, the deaths matter. No, it didn't affect you in the same way? How did you feel about that
like,
plotline?
the start of the episode, he's like, right, I'm going to join a guild. First of all, I didn't understand.
Yeah, I
join
didn't
a guild,
understand that
decided
too.
you want to join a guild, then you join a guild. What's going on? But he joins the guild, and he's like with his people, and they're all like, oh yeah, you could join us, Kirito. And he's like, I appreciate the offer. And you think he's going to say no, but he's like, I will. And they're
Okay.
like, right, okay. Kirito playing with people's emotions for that. So yeah, he joins this guild, and there's all these characters there that you just they all seem cool.
Yeah.
20 minutes though, and they're all dead. Not even 20 minutes. It's like 10 minutes, and that's not even tragic. Like,
I'd agree with you. I didn't care about any of the characters except Versace.
yeah, but she's exactly the same. Like,
So you didn't appreciate the whole thing of her being absolutely freaked out by the game.
that bit was okay, right?
Yeah.
But that's not enough to make me care about it.
Fair enough. That is fair enough. I agree with you there.
Thanks, man.
I'm gonna disagree. Well, I said I'd agree with you. I disagree with you. I enjoyed Sachi, and I like that, but I can see where you're coming from.
For me to appreciate a character and for a death to matter, the character has to be in it a good while. Like, it has to be prominent enough for me to care about them and for me to realize little things I like about that character's personality. They can't just introduce a character in episode 3 kill her at the end of episode 3 and expect me to feel sorry. Like, I read the comments on the video and everybody was like, this episode is so sad. And I was like, well, it's not that sad because you've had 20 minutes of bonding with this person.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And it's not even with her, it's with the entire group, so you don't get...
Yeah, and like, why does he want to help her so much? Because he's only known her... Like, I know time passes, but you've only watched it for 5 minutes and he wants to help her.
You don't
with
get
all
the
his might,
same...
You know?
You don't get the same feeling that he gets for her.
Yeah,
It's like when she dies, he's like, oh my god, I knew her so well. And you're just like, did you?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
I really only
exactly.
thought you met her just now.
And my biggest criticism about that is the end of the episode.
Okay.
Where she, like, sends him a Christmas present from before she died.
Yeah.
Right? And... Oh, sorry. One thing before that. You know when he's going into the woods to find the rare drop?
Yeah.
When he goes there and he gets it, right? And he comes back. But before that, that group of the redhead guy
Yeah, yeah,
are
yeah.
there. And they get ambushed by this clan. And he's like, oh, we can handle it, don't worry. And he leaves. Why does he leave if his old guild died that way? It doesn't make any sense.
It is true,
Like,
though.
he's
He's
just
like,
there.
I have a point. I have a chance to redeem myself.
Yeah.
Nah.
Like, he's going to get her back to see what she said, pretty much, right? And so he
Yeah.
can have forgiveness. Even though she was smiling as she died, and he should have taken that as, you know, I don't blame you. But, he,
You're
like...
making me dislike this anime.
Good, you should. Well, you shouldn't, but, you know, basically... Yeah, you just don't do that. Like, he's had this new opportunity now to help these guys fight and win the fight with them. And keep them all alive,
Okay.
like his old guild. And then he just goes off and goes get the drop to bring Wasserman back.
Yeah.
And I just didn't really understand it. It felt like he didn't notice the situation and just went anyway and left these people there. 'Cause,
All right. Have you got?
you know.
Sorry. Have you got one more point? Because we are getting on a little bit too
Yeah,
much.
yeah. The last bit in that episode where she gets the present, right?
Yeah.
And like she's introduced at the start, she's given vague character development, right? There's a little bit, but it's not enough. And then she hums Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer across like a Christmas present. Oh, I suppose I should give you something, Kirito. and he's like crying. He's like crying over his desk.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of like, I don't feel anything.
Yeah,
I have no
yeah.
attachment to this episode. And
Okay.
that's like why I didn't really get connected to it. Like, I understand some people do, but like one of the points I made, right, in my head was that I could watch this anime if I hadn't watched many other animes.
Yeah. I completely agree. It is a great starter anime.
Yeah, it's like Naruto in that sense.
Yeah.
But like Naruto gradually got worse, you know, and it
Yeah.
gradually got more plot holes and stuff like that. Whereas this has a fair few at the
I
start.
feel like this is a reverse because I've seen some
It
of the
gets-
rest of the
it
anime.
gets better, does
It
it?
gets better, but it still suffers from some of the points you're talking about,
Right.
where it
Development and that sort of thing, is it?
yeah, where characters develop and then they go through arcs within the space of like an episode.
Oh,
and it doesn't
okay.
feel.
Yeah,
it's like,
you-
why is this a
yeah.
TV show, not a movie?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, I have nothing much else to say. I agree with some of your points. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't take it as harshly, but they are there. So yeah, that was what I think we thought about the plot. Anything else?
Yeah. Well, just other than that, I enjoyed episode 4, but there were a lot of moments that were hard to take as cool when they use MMO terms. Like,
Because you don't understand.
well, not really that, but like there was that bit where it's hard to take a character as badass when he's calling people noobs in general.
Yeah.
Because that's more of a slang term, and it's not really an insult. It's just sort of picking fun.
Yeah.
And also, there's that scene where the hit points we were talking about earlier, when they're like slashing him and his hit points are going down and it's going back up.
Yeah.
And he goes up to the woman who's in charge of the clan and puts his sword to her throat. And I was all like, oh, this has gotten pretty cool. But then she's like, if you hurt me, your dial above your head, your star will turn orange because you've attacked another player. And then he's like, I don't care if my star turns orange. I can do with being like that for 4 days. And it's just like, they build up this really cool moment, and then
Yeah.
it just falls short with that line. Like, I was just like, that's not really,
Yeah.
doesn't have a good effect to it.
Alright.
But that's all I got to say about the plot, really.
Cool.
I wasn't really fussed. I'm sorry.
You don't have to pause.
I'm sorry! I know a lot of people like this, but I just couldn't get on board.
Yeah. So the visuals.
It's an absolutely stunning anime.
It is.
Right, that's one of the good points I got to make about it. It looks great. Like, there's scenes where they go to like gardens and things, and it's all drawn really nice. It's all really artistic, and there's little, like, the world doesn't feel like it's a real world, which
Yeah.
is nice because it's not meant to be. And there's like all the designs. There's like floating islands and like massive towers and things like that, and it looks really cool.
I also think visually is the best. In the visuals is the best way they really thrive when it comes to the MMO aspect of it.
Right.
The
I agree. Well,
yeah, when it comes to the plot, it's
Yeah.
lackluster sometimes,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
don't quite get it. It feels MMO, but doesn't aid the plot.
Mm-hmm.
The visuals, it aids it so much because,
Yeah.
as you said, like it says, it feels fake, and they do this thing where the levels are physical levels of the world,
Yeah, yeah.
where they're all on top of each other.
That was cool. It works really well like that. And one thing I liked about it too is the enemies, because they feel like MMO enemies.
Yeah.
They're all copy pastes, but they're all like, there's like boars in the first area which look like a weak enemy.
Yeah.
And then there's like them giant things with clubs.
Yeah.
And they're all copy pastes, but they all they just look like MMO.
It
bad
was
guys. It's
it
cool.
was really cool as well. Like when the one guy kills the boar, and because he kills him, another one just respawns.
Yeah, yeah,
And it
yeah.
kind of like digitally fades in and then becomes a boar, and it doesn't look
Hmm.
digital anymore, which I thought was really cool.
I also like the weapons too.
Oh, the weapons are
when
really
they
cool.
charge them up and they glow a color, that looks quite MMO-y and cool. Like.
It does, and again, the visuals. It really feels like. I figured it. I feel like I'm not making any claims here. I don't know. This is based on no evidence at all, but. To me, it feels like they were like, let's make an anime based in an MMO. They got all the visuals done, and then they were like, all right, we got to think of a story.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because
Like,
again,
yeah.
like Kirito's sword, and like you said, charging up, it feels like an MMO sword that you collect. And whenever he gets a new one, it's like it's cool looking, and it's got like cool engraving, and like sometimes it fits the areas that he got it in,
Right, that's
which is
cool.
really cool. And I also, in terms of visuals, like going back to the HUD is so cool.
Right.
And like when you said the sound effects, when
Yeah,
they're
it's
going
nice.
through and they're clicking things.
I wish there was more exploration than that. Like I think I'd enjoy
Yeah.
it more if they went to all these different locales.
Yeah.
But they don't really. There's all kind of like, it's very like the pacing again. It's very jumpy to where he is and why he's at lower levels than he should be, and why he's just hanging out with people, or why he's taking it seriously. Like,
Yeah.
he keeps jumping between like who he wants to be, and it does it to the extent where it doesn't seem like they've thought about it in a narrative sense. You know?
Yeah,
Like,
and it does do this thing where the visuals, again, very stunning.
Yeah.
But because of the setting of the MMO, the higher up you get, the darker it's supposed to get.
Oh, okay.
Which it does.
That's cool.
But then sometimes you'll get like to an evil place where it's really hard,
Yeah, yeah.
and it'll just look really nice. And I'm like,
Alright.
in an MMO, they would make this place look like
Yeah,
lava
yeah, yeah,
everywhere and stuff.
Yeah, it
but
would be.
because he wants to be socializing with people, it just looks really nice.
Yeah, I see.
I did like there's cool like the secret dungeons and stuff. That was really cool. Where like they're in a garden, they're in like I think they're hunting in a dungeon or something.
Right.
And they go into a secret room.
Right.
But the one thing I didn't like, it's a good point, but also a negative point, because in terms of the visuals, you know the room where Sachi dies.
Yeah.
And the entire room turns into like a big like square.
Yeah,
And
they
it's got like
open the
lights
chest.
everywhere. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That was visually really stunning, but it feels like you wouldn't do that in a fantasy setting because
it's quite
it would just
digitally, isn't
yeah,
it?
it takes you out of the game.
Yeah,
it feels like
more like a beta or whatever, like a test sort of room.
yeah, and going
it
back
feels-
to what you said about the animus, the animus in
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed, the bits where you're walking through white, it really takes
it
you out of the
it,
game.
and you don't feel like you're there. Yeah, I never like that. Like the fact that there's a natural, like you can't go so far in Assassin's Creed. There's always that wall there. When you walk into it, it's like this area is not yet ready for you to remember. It's
Yeah.
kind of like, oh, I don't really care.
Exactly.
But-
And I think that I think the visuals were really stunning. They were really good, and they really aided the whole MMO feel. But because of the plot, they didn't get a lot of chances to really explore.
Yeah, and I like I said, it's got a really good concept, and I'd
Yeah.
be interested for watching an anime like it. But
Yeah.
that one just didn't really meet up to what I'd want from that sort of anime, you know.
Yeah.
So I'd want more exploration and just to feel in the world, sort of thing. But the visuals are great.
Yeah. Right. So finally, there's nothing much else to talk about except for the music. I didn't notice anything.
No, me neither.
The music was all right.
It's okay. I noticed it now and then. It just feels like I suppose Naruto's music is good, right? It's
Yeah.
got good music, but they play it too much.
Yes.
Whereas this music doesn't have the same impact because I never noticed it. Whereas I noticed Naruto's music.
Yeah.
And they seem to play the same songs in Sword Art as well.
I get
But
that.
they're not as visual, audible.
The one thing that I feel like is a
Enjoy.
missed opportunity is having different stages and locations have different themes.
Yeah,
Just like they
that
do
would've been
in
good.
video games.
Yeah.
But as when I was watching it, maybe they do, but it
Yeah.
didn't stand out enough that I noticed
it's
it.
not, yeah. It's quite a
So
disappointment.
yeah, overall, let's do our verdicts then. I'll go first because I feel like mine's gonna be a bit positive. I think it's worth watching if you're either getting into anime or you enjoy MMOs, but it doesn't. The one thing that I think is a positive but also a negative is if you don't like it, there's no like I have to find out what happens.
No, there's none of that.
There's none of that. It's not like, oh, these characters, because everything is wrapped up within episodes.
Yeah, yeah.
So you have like an episode, it starts, it ends, it has an ending. You don't have to watch it anymore, you know?
Yeah,
So if you're into MMOs and you want to start watching anime, I'd watch it. If you're into MMOs and you like anime and watch anime, don't know if I'd give it a shot, you know?
No, it's very basic, I suppose.
Yeah. Overall, I'm gonna give it because of the visuals. The plot was a bit lackluster, but I loved the visuals and the sound. The sound design was really cool. I'm gonna give this one a 6 out of 10. Again, this is our first impressions. We haven't even got to the Asuna stuff yet,
Right.
so we can't talk about that stuff. But first impressions, I feel like it didn't come out really strong out of the gate. So I'm gonna go 6 out of 10.
I love this anime. It was it was okay. I wouldn't watch any more just because I'm used to watching stuff that has like for me as a like media enjoyer personally. I like plot is a very big part for me, and I need to have good development, strong characters to enjoy what I'm watching. And this show didn't really live up to that for me.
Yeah, yeah.
And I can't keep watching it because of the visuals. One little thing they did, which I don't really agree with at all, is they call Kirito the Black Swordsman,
yeah.
and that's from Berserk and what he's called. So if you type in the Black Swordsman on Google, you get mainly Berserk, but then you get Kirito now and then. And it's like they've just copied that title. It's like whatever Minato's called in Naruto. What's he called? The yellow something, isn't it? Or the white... Kakashi's called the White Fang, isn't he?
Yeah,
It's like if they copied that and put it in something else.
yeah.
And I didn't really like that. I thought because Berserk's got such a big following and it's really cult.
It is,
it's
and plus,
very, you know,
it is
very
one of the
definitive.
most different anime mangas
Yeah.
I've ever seen. So it does feel like,
Yeah, they've just kind of taken like you could have called him something else. It's not hard. You just type it in to see if it's been taken and then make it something else. You know. Yeah, the visuals are really great. Very pretty anime. Worth checking out for that at least. So I think I'd give it a 4 out of 10 overall.
okay, yeah. I was honestly expecting lower, but that's fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, it was okay. I didn't have any deep hatred for it, but like, I'm just not going to watch it anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was
fair
pretty, and that you know.
All right, so that was this episode. This episode's anime. If you have any thoughts on it that you forgot to post last episode, don't post below. We'll tell you what we think of your thoughts and stuff. And if you want to give it a score. But let's get on to what we're going to watch next month.
Okay.
All right, so next month, if you...
Right! That's it. Move. Shift up. I'm joining in. Move over. This is nice. It's quite cushy.
Sorry, what are you doing here?
Hey, what's up, guys? Right. Okay. Hi. What's happening, Anime Duo viewers? They probably don't know who I am. Doesn't matter. We're going to settle something.
Okay.
We are settling something right here on this show. Not right now, next month. I'm joining in. It's happening.
Okay.
All right? I'm here. Get used to it. Okay, so recently on the channel, I have angered some anime fans. I think that's safe to say.
Right.
We'll try to get the alignment right for next month. It looks like Jack and I are one person. And, actually, while I'm not talking about the point where I'm sitting here, can we make Media Enjoyer an official title for some new watchers?
So I was like, yeah, I liked it too.
Brilliant.
I thought it was good.
I have angered fans of a certain anime that involves giants and kids with swords. And I think it's time... That doesn't really narrow it down, does it? Comment a lot of things. I think it's time we put this to bed.
What is that?
Yeah.
So, next month, let's watch Akira. No.
There are neither giants nor swords.
The best part about that joke was, in on the joke, laughed, not on the joke, really confused. Let's watch Attack on Titan.
Okay.
Let's do it. I will watch Attack on Titan. We'll review it. I'll sit in for next month. That's it. Then I'll never come back ever again. Let's watch Attack on Titan. Cool.
That's cool by me.
suppose.
I mean, the way the show goes, we do first impressions.
No,
so-
no. You guys can do the first impression. You can do the first 6 episodes.
Yeah, 6 episodes sounds good.
I'm watching it all.
You're watching all of it.
I am not having a single comment on next month's video saying, oh, well, Jack just didn't like it because he didn't watch it all. Not that I'm saying I'm not going to like it, but if I don't, I want my opinion to be valid.
That sounds fair.
So I will watch it all. I will watch every single... How many are there?
There's like 24.
602.
There's like 24 episodes.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'll watch them all. 20 minutes, yeah? They're not like full hour long
they're
episodes.
20
I
minutes.
don't have a day for this.
So yeah, if you have any opinions about Attack on Titan that you want to post it in the video response, tweet it at us, comment it below this video, and we'll talk about it in the next episode, and talk about how Jack just is wrong. All right.
I don't have an opinion. I've never seen the anime.
I know. So
I've never
just
seen
post
the
what
anime.
you think, and then see if it joins up with Jack.
Jax.
Jax.
And-
We're a
and Jack.
unit now.
Yeah. We've literally taken up the same space as one person.
When you two put them together, you form a Mortal Kombat character.
Yeah.
Or just like, fit anime duo. Or like, Dragon Ball Z when they put on the earrings.
Oh,
We form
and
into
they,
one
and they
Jack.
touch fingers.
They can do both. Not at the same time, that'd be weird. What happened if two people who were fused it?
I'm Cameron Morris.
And I'm Jack Thomas.
And I guess now I'm the other Jack. I'm Jack Morris.
We'll see you next month for Attack on Titan.
3-person special!